What's up, everyone? Matt here for another Who Are They Real review. And today I'm here to talk to you about a movie that I was really interested in going into. And I think there's going to be a decent amount of conversation around this. And that's none other than The French Dispatch, Wes Anderson's new film. Um, so I'll preface this. I am not as familiar with Wes Anderson films. I have watched a lot of films in my time. The only one I can ever remember of his watching is The Fantastic Mr. Fox. That being said, I did still enjoy this movie. Um, and love it. I didn't hate it. I liked it. Did I like it a lot? I'm still trying to decide that, honestly. But I can tell you about what I did like about the film, and that starts off with the amazing performances. I mean, my God, where do you start off with? I mean, Francis McDormand, Jeffrey Wright. Like, I could. You have you guys look at this poster? Look at this poster. I mean, how could you not talk about this amazing cast? Bill Murray, Timothée Chalamet, Benicio del Toro. I'm just trying to go through the poster and look honestly right now because there's so many out. There's so many faces you know and love in there, and it gives us a lot to talk about. But the thing that I think doesn't is partly why I didn't care for this film as much is because of instead of being one through line, it um ended up being parts. It's an anthology film in the purest sense of the word. It's told in five sections. You have the obituary, you have the travel log, and then you have your three main stories. Um, the obituary sets it all up, interesting, gives you some background in what the French Dispatch is. Fun, just real quick like that. Then you get the travel log, which Owen Wilson is hilarious in. He's taking you around the city. Like it sets up those two do a good job of here. This is what your story is about. Here, this is where your stories are going to be taking place. And now we give you the three stories of what this film is going to be telling. And if I'm going to be honest, the first one is the strongest, without a doubt. The one that stars Benicio del Toro, Leah Sado, and Adrian Brody has a couple little guest spots in there that I don't want to spoil because I remember me and Nick, and I will give Nick's grade also because that's only fair. We were both like, "Yo, this is wow. Okay, how could you? All right, let's roll with it." Um, I I really dug that story. It was filled with laughs and anything you could like. It felt like the strongest, most fully formed story. And I get that this is a love letter to journalism, and the jokes that are made in that story are great too. And I wish I had gotten more of that. Then we get to story two, which is Francis McDormand's story, and that's the story where we get Timothée Chalamet, who's great. Francis McDormand is fantastic, but my biggest issue with this one and the next one are the quality of story that we get, because you started us off on such a strong high note just to have us get two middling stories to go along with it. Um, that this one it was a little bit harder to follow for the second story. Uh, there's some journalistic integrity things in there that being someone who was a journalism student, I wasn't the biggest fan of. I don't like it when they do it in other films either, but they did it. And as a love letter to journalism, that kind of just like a slap in the face. Just gonna say it. Um, but it is what it is. It wasn't great. It wasn't bad. It was okay. And I think that's the theme of a lot of this movie for me. Um, I without a doubt enjoy films that are more so one through story, not anthology. like a Dune, which people will be like, oh, this is independent. This is art house. This movie still has a $25 million budget. This is not an art house film. An art house film has a budget of less than $10 million. Halloween, the first 2018 film, is more of an art house film than this. Anyways, I still love strong stories, and ultimately, when I give films lower grades, it's because the story, for the most part, failed for me. Sometimes the story is great, and then the other aspects aren't. I wish this was just great all around. Um, the story with Chalamet follows a reporter as she's talking or telling the story of this revolution that she was covering, and it was like, okay, cool. Chalamet's leader of this teenage revolution. Cool. Fell flat for me. Then you have the final story, which I would, out of the three stories I have, the three main stories, I'd rank it as the second best, because while it does have a weaker story, and I know this film was filming right on the time before COVID hit, I think that had something to do with how we saw parts of the story play out, which is there's a good portion of it that was animated. So I sat there and I wondered to myself, I'm like, I wonder if these animated parts they were filming before COVID actually hit, and if that's the case, maybe they decided to animate the parts that they couldn't get on camera. I don't know. It's just a thought. But Jeffrey Wright, he plays a journalist in this story who has a typographic memory, can remember every word he's ever written and everything, and he narrates us through the story, so it's a little easier to follow than the previous one, and it's also got some of that charm that the first one did. And it's fun, it's funny. You might see a Bond villain or two from the Daniel Craig films, but I really enjoyed it. Once again, didn't love it, didn't hate it. It's fine. And I think that has a lot to do with this rating I'm about to give the film. And that is a 3.5 out of 5 reels, 3.5 out of 5 reels for myself. I expect better, I wanted better, and I got somewhere in between. So, hey, I will go through and watch some of Wes Anderson's other filmography, and maybe it'll change my opinion on this film. But I don't know. So, but I will say, Nick absolutely loved this film. Nick gave it a 4.5 out of 5. I didn't have time to get him on here because I'm recording this in between classes. He is at work. We were both tired after the screening last night, so it just made sense to do it like this. But we're hoping you see more of Nick and the real reviews coming forward, and everything that we're doing on this channel. We even got what we call real reactions coming out. We got 2 of them dropped just a short while ago in Lightyear and Cowboy Bebop. So Chris did those. I did not do those, but Chris went ahead and did those for us, and I'm really excited for you guys to see Chris's thoughts. We got a lot going on over here at Watt Real Entertainment. Be sure to check out Really Scared and the Real-Oween they've been doing. And just remember, they will be announcing the schedule going forward on this upcoming Sunday's episode with Alok Mishra talking about Halloween Kills. And we got so much going on here. Just like, follow, subscribe, and see everything that we're doing over here at Watt Real Entertainment. And with that, I'm Matt, and this was another Who Are They Real Review.